Good on my stars. I hope you're all well today, and welcome back. If you guys remember, I did the episode about the sovereign extraction and the reason why Prince William was in the UAE. My guides have pulled me back and they said I need to come and do another reading on this. And the words that kept coming up to me was sovereign corridor. Sovereign corridor. And I don't know why that just kept popping up in my head. So, as per always, this is for fun and entertainment purposes only. We aren't here to read headlines or political noise that we see on the news. We are here to read the architecture of this visit, the unseen logistics. And I want to say almost like the side doors and the quiet hallways that the public stories don't walk down. And before we begin, we are going to have a look and see if we can pick up on some energies around Prince William's visit to the UAE, and not the optics, but the movement underneath it. And it almost feels like this field is very, very contained. Very controlled. It's almost got a clinical feel about it, despite all the other noise. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to try and track what's moving without pushing a story. And as we know, we're going to be looking for the energies of Prince William's astrological signature, Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, and living on a boat. I'm almost going to say that this is almost our GPS point for the reading, but we're going to hold that frequency and we're going to see what comes out. So I'm going to be centering that energy, and I'm going to call in my guides, and I'm just going to clear any energies and any residual that I already cleared last night and yesterday with regards to the other very heavy readings. So that's why I waited until 8 a.m. on the 13th of February to do this reading, because I needed to get all that other energy cleared. This is my little panic button. And we are getting rid of all the panic in the world by ringing that. So I've just made sure I've cleared that energy. I've given the tuning fork a rest today because it really worked hard yesterday. So let's have a look. I'm going to use two decks again. I'm going to use this deck as a clarifier if needs be. And I'm going to use this as my reading deck, my Old Faithful. So let's do a shuffle here and see if my ancestors, my guides, my tapuna can bring me any messages, not gossip, not headlines, but any messages. The moon. They've got something and they are walking away from something. There is something being walked away from. No gossip. Just no headlines. What is the energies? What were the energies in the room? I almost want to say be the spy. Endings, new beginnings. You guys saw it flipping out. What was the energy in those rooms? What were the energies in those rooms? Okay, cards are ready. Cut 3, And I don't riffle. My cards don't like to be riffled, but also I think I'm dumb. I can't riffle. Let's just leave these there for the now. I'm just going to shuffle these quickly, see if they're in the same energy, and just see if we are going to be getting any messages from the attention. Because these two decks played very nicely together yesterday. So I thought let's just continue with it. What? 5. There was some bullying going on. Somebody is walking away. There was still disagreements. Deflected winnings. Winning at all cost. Sneakiness. Abusive relationship. Swords. Aquarius. Instability. Exaggeration. Over expectation. Strife. Change. Freedom. Loss. Change, freedom, and loss. That is what's standing out here. Strife is also standing out here. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's get into this reading. Sorry, I just flipped it and I just saw underlying on this deck. Manifesting. Power. Self-confidence, willpower, skill, creativity, air. And we are, and aren't we moving into Mercury retrograde soon? This had to be done before Mercury retrograde. Okay. Let's mix that one into the pack again. Okay, let's just leave it aside. Going to leave this on the side there, and let's have a look here. Six of Wands, Two of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, Queen of Swords, Six of Pentacles, 6 and 6. 12 is 3, takes me to an Empress. Okay, I almost want to say that this is the public corridor, what we are seeing in the hallways of power, parts that are built in front of cameras. The public spectacle. It's a victory lap energy. The handshake, the motorcade, and the visible win. The signing of the deal, the trade deal. Signing of the trade deal. And this almost looks like William on a horse when they are doing trooping of the colors or whatever, and sitting around. And this white horse here reminds me of Arabian horses. Arabian horses. And the green and the flag. And the red and the flag. Thank you, cards. Well done. Now, the Two of Pentacles sitting upright is right next to it. It wasn't, I almost want to say, it came at a cost. It wasn't a free win. Because things had to be balanced. And there's definitely a trade happening here. And we are not supposed to see what that trade is. I mean, look at the trade ships in the background. One is going in that direction and one is going in that direction. The bigger one is going back towards east. There's definitely a trade agreement that's been made. Could that be securing the passage of the Hermit from that side and the sending of something to California to make sure that the Hermit can leave California, because a line was drawn, was balanced, it's almost like we're securing funds and money here to secure a continuous flow of legacy. And that red there is telling me that yes, don't look here, but look what is happening in the background, because these pentacles in the front distracts your eye and it takes you away from what is happening in the background. Nine of Wands, and this Nine of Wands tells me it's not just about growth and the joining of forces and the expansion of trade between two countries. This is almost telling me that it is about guarding the perimeter. You have a look here. We are battered from all the battles that we've just had to fight, say over the last 9 months especially. And now guardrails have been put up, but we are still defending ourselves against something or someone. And that is why we had to do the strip to go and put up the guardrails to secure continuity of money and flow and legacy. Somebody is making sure that the line, look here, that the line is holding. Look at the lines. The lines are holding. Desert, Britain. Lots of ocean around there, desert. Lines are holding between the two powers. And not government powers, royal powers. And the Queen of Swords, this is definitely contracts. Contracts. And she is determined. She is made the decision and it's happening. And again, she showed up, new beginnings. Look how the winds are blowing across the ocean. And we still can't see what is behind these clouds. But the decision was made in a desert-like area. Words have been spoken, words have been said, deals have been done. Could this also be a deal that was done regarding a divorce and how to secure the divorce and how to get the divorce settlement sorted without affecting the royal purse publicly or on the books? And here we go. This is just the drip, the Six of Pentacles. The aid and the funding of the money and the moving of the money. I would say the moving of the money. The moving of the money. And doesn't that look very Arabian to you? The turban, the outfit. This one is sitting with its hands sort of stretched out. Look how carefully it has been approached. Hands are extended, but they're not fully opened here. One hand is hidden. So this is telling me you're trying to mend a tear. And sorry, I caught myself in something I wanted to say, but I'm not going to say it because it will be taken the wrong way. Look at the beige outfit and the beige headdress. And it's just come to me. The little redhead is begging and pleading, please, 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 can we restore balance? Please. And through this channel over here, where the meeting was just, is where the money is going to be pushed through to go to the beige outfit. But it's keeping the beige outfit on the knees. And it's going to stay on the knees because this is it. But in the process, something is being retained. Access has been retained. Access has been secured. And it's almost like there will be security for the beggar here, the red-headed beggar. But we are going to hang the scales over you and we're going to keep you in balance. We are going to manage you. We are going to balance you. And this here is going to tell you to keep quiet, Miss Muppet, who sat on her tuffet and came crashing down. You're going to stay on your knees, and this is it. That's everything. No more. Sorry about that. There was just a phone call that came in, and I didn't realize I had my mobile not on silent. So I just dropped the call. We're going to manage you. We're going to balance you. And look at the castle in the background. It almost looks like a Tuscan Portuguese castle on the cliff edge. It's not Windsor. But it could also be Windsor that is in the background that is ensuring this. And look how these two have been separated. And it's sitting next to the separation card. Okay, I'm waffling on again here. Sorry, the more I look at it, the more things just stand out to me. And the more downloads I get. So this deal, I think, had to do with the divorce and securing the royal wealth, the royal legacy. But let's see what the rest of the cards say. King of Pentacles. Money, 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 money. Look at all the pentacles. Money, money, money. There we go. There we go. This card showed up. But a new player on the table. Showed up in some other readings. There we go. King of Wands. There's Uncle Willie. There's Uncle Willie. There's the other power. Coming together. Making a plan. This is the vault. This is the vault. It's not here to make money. It is here to protect money. To keep things safe. To ensure the safety of the monarchy and the legacy and the generational wealth. This is the vault. And this here is the real structure. Look at how everything has been held up here by these columns. And doesn't that remind you a little bit of Westminster Abbey and St. George's Chapel? And St. George's Chapel. This is real structure. that is being built here. Actual agreements and energies behind what the cameras don't see. It's behind the darkness there. See, there's no camera flashes. Nobody sees what's going on here. And we are building a sovereign wealth here. A sovereign fund. I don't know where that came from. Sovereign fund. But we needed somebody to temporarily take care of it and work on the plan. But also this bench can break, but also this bench can be moved around. Moving of assets. Here we've got the King of Wands. This is the power meeting. There you can see the line in the background. Oh, they've been through fire. They can still walk through fire. It is regional authority. It's not soft diplomacy. And it is two positions here that is recognizing each other's leverage. Oh, here we go. Shows up again. Different day, different reading. Showed up again. Let's have a look at the next card. Look at all the kings on the table here. Look at all the kings on the table at play. Look at all the big players here. He can be either, William can either be a King of Cups or a King of Wands. But there he is. The Chariot. This is protection of transition, a protection of transport. It is escort, it's an escorting movement for me. There's two sides to it. Two palaces involved. But he's the central figure between the palace and the firm. And this is transporting something, moving through a space without really touching anything, without really touching the ground that is passing, that he's passing over. You know, because he's elevated. I'm keeping my fingers clean because this trade envoy is the screen. Because I have already got the scepter to take over. And I'm laying the foundation and I'm laying the grounds down. Because I think when his grandmother passed away and his father took over, some agreements fell away and certain things got exposed. Because that old lady had a finger on the pulse and she would know how to move things. And she did a number of visits with and to that region. But also, I think there might have been a collapse because there was also the transition to a new leader within the desert country. And I think that might have gone a bit rogue. And this is now where it needs to step in and fix it and rebuild what was there with the Queen, what she laid down. As I go, it just expands. And this King of Cups here, and we all know how emotionally contained he always is. He's always under the high pressure, he's always under pressure, he's always pressured to talk about things and whatever, but he holds steady. He's not reactive, he manages. We all know what that saying was. Never complain, never explain. This is the energy that I'm getting here. Never complain, never explain. He's the bridge between the transport and the surfer in California. But the surfer in California is not going to go back to the UK, I think. But that is for another reading, because I had a viewer asking me about where he's going. I have dropped in some of the other videos where I think he's going, and I'll do a reading on that. There's a number of readings that I would like to do, and I'll put it at the end of it. I'll tell you guys what readings I have got planned and coming up, so you can be on the lookout for it. Gaslighting. This card came up in the Sovereign reading as well. The Burj Khalifa, Royal Crowns, Two Faces, Snake in the Grass, and the dragon is protecting, and he can walk through fire with the dragon that is breathing down his neck. He can walk through fire with the, and we are not allowed to see what is behind all the glitz and the glamour that we're seeing on the screen and all the parades, because it's shrouded. It's being directed. And here I can tell you now, that is probably being directed by him, by William. Charles is aware of it, but William is the driving force behind it. And if we just have a look here, how this falls here. The Burj Khalifa looking like building, sitting on the side here of the Pentacles. King of Pentacles. Let's quickly have a look and see if there's any underlying betrayal, heartbreak, grief, emotional pain, divorce. I'm reading what's on the cards here. Divorce, depression, loss. What did I tell you? What did I tell you about the Queen of Swords? Divorce, loss, hurt, sorrow. And it's telling me, no, it wasn't about a trade visit. It wasn't about a trade visit. It was something else. Let's have a look, underlying energy here. The World. There we go. Secret. There we go. I'm sorry, you guys, look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Now tell me. The seal and the handshake is the containment, and it's the sealing of the corridor with the Seven of Cups here. Multiple stories are laid out. By the time it lands with us, the public, several versions is already out there about what had happened. Confusion is not accidental. It's containment strategy. Four of Pentacles, that's come up again. The hold-in, the lockdown, the control. Lines are drawn. It's caught in the middle. And that's why I say Harold is not going back to the UK. He's going somewhere else. Because he hasn't got his foot in California. He hasn't got his foot there. He's sort of stuck in the middle. And he's told to keep his mouth shut. And we will put financial pressure on you to keep quiet and keep your feet where we tell you to be. And this High Priestess again, that's all the secrets, classified channels, silence protocols, half illusions, cold, calm structure is still running the show. The firm, the monarchy, the king is still running the show for now. And this world card, closing the loop, closing the circuit, completing things. So when we look at this Prince William visit to the UAE, remember what you are seeing and walked through, and as you are walked through that front door, what you are shown on your screen isn't actually what is at work. The optics are used. Like when you go to Buckingham Palace and you take the tour, or you go for a state banquet or whatever, the optics are there. You walk through these grand staircases in order to get where you need to be. Optics. But as you walk through those doors and you take corridors off to the side that lead off that hallway, there's rooms that handle logistics. There's rooms that manage finances. There's rooms that are managing contracts. There's rooms that are managing PR. And all those things stay out of sight. You don't ever see those officers working in the palaces. They're behind the scenes. Now, my friends, take a breath, breathe, and know that the sovereign extraction has been confirmed by this reading. Let's have a look. Just one last message here. One last message. And I always keep going over the time. I told myself I want to do it in 20 minutes. But again, I see I've gone over time. I've gone over time. Tell me if you guys think it's too long. Please leave a comment. If you think it's too long, just tell me. Let's just do this. One last message. That one wanted to come out. You guys saw that. Movement, progress, action, integration, willpower, control, direction, departure. You guys saw me. One last message. One last message. One last message, please. One last message, please. One last message. The moon. I'm just going to say the moon. The moon. And the Chariot. Definitely deals were made regarding legacy and wealth. We look at all the money on the table here. Securing legacy, securing vaults, making sure our assets are locked up in vaults. And not like all the gold bars and stuff that you see in front of you. Digital vaults. Digital. Mark my words. Digital vaults. And it is in order to get this issue sorted out once and for all. 6 months maximum. 6 months maximum. Then, to wrap up, I'm planning on doing a reading on the extraction and where we think it's going to go, and that is going to be based on the 6 of Swords that kept popping up. I'm going to be doing a reading on the why, besides Mountbatten, Andrew Windsor, there are other prominent names like Bates and Wilton's, etc. coming out now. Are they the fall people? Is that the old order that's no longer needed in order for this new order to be established? I'm going to be looking into a group of islands, because I keep coming on islands, and I got an email about a group of islands that has been connected to EPS back to 2014. And it's just funny how one of the resorts are actually being activated in February 2026. I'm not naming names, I'm not saying anything, I'm just mentioning it. And if that could be where the corridor is, not for Harry, but for the shadow figure, and has this finalization here got to do with the king? Because we saw a report yesterday that the king's health is not good. And this is also just such a coincidence how this all happened just around the time of this visit. And I'm telling you, Lady C mentioned it on her channel, and I think she was the curated announcer of things to come, preparing the public. And we need to get this done ASAP. And there's another narrative that is going to be spun here, and that narrative I think I will touch on with regards to a reading on the king's health and why optics are being created with the movement of Harold and the separation from Nutmeg. Thank you, my friends. Have a lovely day, and thanks for watching. Thanks to all my new subscribers. Thank you, much appreciated. Thank you. I am so excited, and I've just, from excitement, the guys are agreeing with me. They just jumped and said yes, 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 we agree. Thank you very, very much. I love all of you, and until I speak to you, goodbye.